The snow is melting. They finally plowed my street yesterday after I had already been out. There were just some ridges of snow. Actually, they were high enough to still kind of scrape the bottom of my car, but they were soft, so it was okay. And yeah, so there's a lot of melting going on, but you know, you can see up the street there, it's starting to, you can actually see the street. So as long as I can get out, I'm okay. But the plows were going around in our neighborhood at, well, I went to my tarot class last night, and it was the last of 4 classes. So by the time I got home, it was probably 9:15, 9:30, and I saw the plow truck going into our neighborhood, and Avery, poor Avery, was restless all night because because the trucks were going around the neighborhood, and this morning she heard it too, so she hasn't even had her breakfast yet. I have been standing in front of my wood stove. See my I turn my I go to YouTube on my iMac, and if I bring it up full screen, I can stand here in front of the fire, and or I sit in my chair, and I usually have my tea, and if Jackie's video has come up, I watch her video. But I've also I also had this idea that, so the teacher, who's also the astrologer at the Aquarian bookshop, encourages us to just keep practicing with the tarot, and I have my cheat sheets here because I don't remember everything. She said too, she gave a good suggestion, because I always think of, like, I always feel like I have to have these profound questions to figure out stuff. And she just suggested, you know, a daily draw where you just say, what should I focus, what should my focus be for, oh, there goes another truck, another plow. What should my focus be for today? And so that's what I did today. And I thought, I do some journaling. I journal every day, or I try to. If I'm really depressed, I actually don't. But I have to sit down and do some today. And rather than writing out my spread and writing out all the cards, I thought I'm going to set it up so every day I can take a picture. Maybe, and I might be doing more than one spread a day just to practice, but like I'll take a picture of my morning spread. And if I asked a specific question other than, what should I focus on today, I can put it on there, and then I'll put the date, so I will have a record. And I actually even thought that might not be a bad idea for, that might be a neat idea for an art project. So I'm going to stand in front of the fire while I chat at you, because it's cold. And it hasn't, my wood is still kind of fresh from the last delivery, so I try to keep some inside I should probably bring a big load in, because it takes forever for it to really heat up. But anyway, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to do this every day. Maybe create an art project from it. I don't know. And what else am I going to do today? Oh my goodness. I think maybe I should do a list today. I don't know. What does that say? What should I focus on? It looks like I should focus on partying. I like that 3 of Cups up there at the top. Actually, it is interesting that came up, because was it yesterday or the day before, I got a text message from my neighbor, and he said that they're going to do a game night with Tom and Mark, who I went to the jewelry party, and then I went to the New Year's party, which was after New Year's. So Tom and Mark are going to come, and I think Bonnie and Stu might come. They're next door to them. So they're going to do a little game night. So that'll be fun. I haven't asked yet if there's anything I can bring. I need to ask that. So that's kind of good. That's kind of getting me out. I'm still grappling with a lot of stuff. My counseling session was really good yesterday. The storm really threw me for a loop. Not in that I didn't enjoy the snow, and I actually enjoyed the shoveling, and I enjoyed walking down to the river in the snow, and of course watching it fall. All of that's good. The being stuck in my neighborhood for 5 days kind of got to me a little bit, and that's mostly because I live alone. And it made me very, very nostalgic, very, very much missing my old life, which is still stuff I'm working through. But when I was talking to my counselor yesterday, some other stuff came up. I started talking about online dating, doing online dating, because, I'd like to have a partner, but then it gets real mixed up when I start thinking about things, because I'm actually pretty picky about who I want. I don't want to say picky. I want to have a relationship that is the best that it can be for me, that can pull out the best in me, that I can help do the same for my partner and just co-create together. And not everybody wants that in a relationship, and I think I have to find somebody who kind of wants the same things. So anyway, so we were talking about that, and I was talking about well, we ended up getting to the crux of the matter was sort of really comes back to certain self-worth issues I have, and I don't want to say demanding, but it has to do with feeling respected by others, and that when I don't feel respected, and it's okay to let them know, which is, in the past, I've done a lot of, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if somebody talks sharply to me, maybe they're having a bad day, I don't need to say anything. So for me, there's a lot about communication and finding my voice for those things that are important for me. And she said an interesting thing too, because I said, of course, the Catholic Church did its own number on me, but even a lot of the New Age religions or philosophies, there's this whole thing of negative emotions. You can't have negative emotions. Anger is a negative emotion. You should always look within yourself why you feel this way. And while I do feel that's true, it's not taking into account the complex person I am, and that it's okay for me to express my feelings. It doesn't have to be disrespectful towards somebody else or rude, but actually maybe it's okay to be rude sometimes. So my counselor says everybody operates on a spectrum, and that's why she loves astrology, she said, because she can, it helps to figure out a person's path and what they're here to learn and work on. And we operate on a spectrum from passivity to aggression. And I am on way far on the passivity side. So she says it's okay to start, not being aggressive necessarily, but certainly assertive. And this was the point that really kind of hit home for me, that if a committed, intimate relationship, domestic partnership with somebody is something that feels to be part of why I am here, which it does, especially with my Cancer rising, and I've got, well, at least this year in particular, I've got my Sun and Pluto in the 7th house, but I've got a lot of kind of partnership stuff in my chart. Apparently I've come from independence. So anyway, if that is what is important to me in my life, and it feels like my purpose here, then that next relationship I have needs to be the best it can be. And it's not going to be the best it can be until I learn to respect myself and require respect from other people. And that all ties in also with being able to have contentious discussions with people. I've always been extremely afraid of that, extremely conflict averse, to the point where I would let people speak to me in a way that wasn't respectful. And it didn't feed me. It didn't feed that part of me that needed the energy to do all the creative things that I feel like I'm meant to do. So anyway, so it was a very kind of intense counseling session. Towards the end, I'm also in my sessions with her, I'm also trying to not always find something to say, to just kind of sit there and be okay with silence for a little bit too. So after we got through a lot of this stuff, I kind of sat there and I went, I don't have the energy to say anything else. But it was good. She said that I gave her a little pushback, which I didn't even realize I did. But I feel safe with her, and I know she's there for my greater good. So if she's saying something that doesn't quite resonate with me, or feels like it's kind of going in a direction that doesn't feel authentic to me, I have no problem with telling her, well, no, it's not really what I meant, or that's not really what I feel like is going on. And she said that was good, and that's something that I need to learn to do with many people. Oh, it's quite a journey, and it is kind of tiring, and it is wintertime still. So I'm seeing Jackie in her garden, and I'm remembering, well, even Northern California this time of year. I know that the plum tree in El Cerrito is about to start blooming, and the quince blossoms, because it's near Chinese New Year. And finally everything here is dead. I noticed when I walked in the park the other day, I was there like a week or two early, and I was saying, oh, well, I wonder if things are just going to stay green. Certain things are going to stay green all this year, but the other day when I was there, it's like, everything's pretty much turning brown now, which is good. It should. But yeah, it's, oh, they're dumping sand again? Why are they dumping more sand? I do not understand, these snow plows. I don't think they do either so much, because this much snow is very unusual for us. Anyway, I'm kind of blabbing on and not doing a very interesting vlog-ish thing here today as far as showing what I don't know what else I'm going to do today. I decided to dress in a skirt today, a skirt and my black top and my multicolored amber. I don't know why. Maybe that's the High Priestess thing. I don't know. High Priestess has been coming up for me very often in my spreads this past week. So I need to pay attention to that. Avery, is it breakfast time? You haven't had your breakfast yet, and it's practically lunchtime. Those silly trucks, they did a number on your nerves. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I hope I'll have something more interesting to talk about next time. Okay, bye.